Welcome everybody to look at the final film in the Tales of Adventure collection number 5 box set from Imprint Films, which has mainly been looking at sci-fi films. So yeah, the final film is 1956's The Gamma People. So this is directed by John Gilling, who also did Pick Up Alley, The Plague of the Zombies, and my one of my favourites from him, The Shadow of the Cat. Like I said, mostly a box set focuses on science fiction, and this is a science fiction film, albeit with some extras on top. And it clocks in at 79 minutes long. It stars Paul Douglas, who was in Panic in the Streets and 14 Hours, Eva Bartok, who was in Blood and Black Lace, Leslie Phillips, who I've not seen in any other film in terms of a main role, but he's been in plenty of supporting roles that I've seen him in before, in the likes of Scandal, Pool of London, and the first Lara Croft film. Also stars Walter Riller, who was in 3 of the Dr. Mabuse films, as well as State Secret and Day of Anger. So an American reporter smells a story when he is stranded in an Iron Curtain country where the local dictator is using gamma rays to transform children into mutated henchmen. So despite this clearly having a political theme to it that was obviously relevant at the time, its goofy tone and the fact that there are plenty of laughs do undermine any attempt at a serious message, regardless of how biased it is. That said, this is still really rather entertaining. The pacing is on point. The cast is really good, surprisingly quite stacked for quite a low budget film. I mean, it cost less than £100,000 to make, for instance, which not a lot even back then. It doesn't outstay its welcome. Has a really rather fun finale with some explosions and a really decent, what looks like a miniature, but still decent regardless. The cinematography is well executed, and with it being actually shot on location in Austria, the locales do look the part. Really, rather great big mountains and rolling hills and fields and such. So, certainly doesn't feel like it's been constrained to a studio. So, yeah, overall, a really rather enjoyable effort. I imagine the goofy tone and the fact it's quite clearly going for laughs, as well as also trying to peddle a serious message, might well be a bit jarring. But yeah, for a film that's less than 80 minutes and yeah, it really is just as well paced as it is. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it's an entertaining film, and yeah, it entertains in plenty of ways. So yeah, 1080p HD presentation for this film. Looks and sounds fairly good. There is a bit of audio peaking here and there, but nothing absolutely major. You also get a theatrical trailer with this as well. But on top of all of that, we actually get a bonus film with this release, and that is only a standard definition, and you can tell that by the fact that it's quite closed in terms of the aspect ratio. But yeah, the bonus film is 1962's The Underwater City. So this is directed by Frank McDonald, who I've not seen anything else from before. Once again, a science fiction film, although it leans into science fiction a hell of a lot more than The Gamma People does. Stars Julie Adams, who was in Creature from the Black Lagoon, Hollywood Story, and Six Bridges to Cross. She was the main female lead in all 3 of those. Also stars Roy Roberts, who was in the original House of Wax from 1953, Force of Evil, and The Enforcer. So, an engineer, a psychologist, and several other disparate types take part in an experiment to see if people can live for an extended period of time in a city built under the ocean. So, despite this being unrestored and in its post release colour TV format, as opposed to its original black and white format, this was on the whole a charming enough effort despite initially starting off with a rather dry and exposition heavy narration. That said, it doesn't take long to get a little bit entertaining because a giant sea creature attacks one of these divers and he's being thrown around and all such, and obviously a dummy, but it still looks really rather entertaining. The cast is, however, decent. There are a couple of entertaining animal attack scenes. There's also one between a the same creature that kills the diver at the beginning and a giant octopus while surrounded while in the midst of a shipwreck on the bottom of the sea. So that's also really rather good. The miniatures are cute, quite frankly, they are really are, especially when it comes to the underwater city. The pacing is on point. It is reasonably engaging and has a fun enough finale when spoilers, everything inevitably goes wrong with the underwater city. So yeah, that again gets a 3 out of 5, just like Gamma People does, and just like the rest of this release, in fact. And I know that doesn't sound particularly great that every film has gotten 3 stars out of 5, but it is at least consistent. And you have to, at the end of the day, take it with a pinch of salt that these films are low budget for the most part. Only This Island Earth had any reasonable high budget, and yeah, you have to go in expecting that there's going to be elements that are a little bit slow, a little bit exposition heavy, but because they're so short, because they are do have their entertaining moments and they do have their own certain unique charms to them, especially considering this is in the heyday of, sci-fi becoming, more mainstream, especially with, the space race and such. They do have their charms in that regard as well, and especially since, a lot of the language was also developing at the time. So you do get certain oddities in that regard as well. So yeah, I'm going to rank these, but firstly, we're going to talk about Devil Girl from Mars. Now, obviously, I did review this already as part of Studio Canal's Cult Classics line, which I have here. So yeah, the Studio Canal one is a little bit more high up market, up market, because obviously it does have the slipcover, it does have the art cards that you get with it, but there are more extras on this release than there are with this one. So with the Studio Canal one, you got an interview with novelist and critic Kim Newman, and you got an audio commentary with Kim Newman and writer and journalist Barry Forshaw, and a stills gallery. Whereas with this one, you not only get the new restoration from Studio Canal. Uh, by the way, the audio is in sync with this release, so you don't have to have the issues that we had initially with the Studio Canal one. But you also get an audio commentary with film historian Philippa Berry from 2025. And then you get the same audio commentary that is on the Studio Canal one. But you also get Invasion from Outer Space, interview with author John Tolson from 2025. And then you get the same interview again with Kim Newman from 2024. So, yeah, do get a couple of extras there. And on top of that, you don't have to worry about any audio issues with buying this one, especially if you buy this second hand. Do beware that if you buy the second hand, you might well get the version that has this audio out of sync. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Mine isn't, so but I am going to probably sell mine at some point. So yeah, because at the end of the day, this does have more extras on it while having the same ones as the Studio Canal release, and it is part of the box set overall. So I just don't see the point in having a second version of the same film, quite frankly. So yeah, in terms of ranking these films, yeah, it's I'd say the 27th Day is my least favorite of the bunch. It's got its themes, but yeah, there's not much spectacle to it at all. Then the Night the World Exploded would be in the next position, whichever that would be. How many did we have again? One, two, three, four, five. So yeah, the Night World Exploded would be in fourth. Um, I'd say the Gamma People comes in third. This Island Earth comes in second. Yes, it has a really rather entertaining final act with the special effects, miniatures, and the mutant, as they call it, in the end. But there's a fair bit not going on at the beginning, to be fair. And then Devil Goes from Mars goes in first place. It's just really rather quite a camp, entertaining effort. And the fact it's set in Scotland, does mean that it's got a little bit something different going for it. And yeah, it does have its entertaining moments more throughout its running time than, say, this Island Earth, which is primarily confined to its final act. So, yeah, really, really enjoyed this box set. I know I've seen all but two of them, if you can count Underwater City as a main film in this release. But yeah, I really enjoyed just having these films because I'm a massive 50s sci-fi fan. Any opportunity I can get to get 50 sci-fi films, I will get them, as evidenced by the fact that I recently bought some films on DVD. In that, whether or not they're ever going to come out on Blu-ray or not is another thing entirely. But I got First Man in Space, The Leech Woman, and Fiend Without a Face, which I highly recommend. By the way, this is a really, really solid, creature feature sci-fi film. To be honest, yeah, highly recommend that one. So, yeah, it does really, really into 50 sci-fi. So I really jumped at the chance to get this box set, even though it's a little bit pricey because you have to get it from Australia to the UK, and that does up the price. And secondly, the fact that I'd seen most of them already and knew what I was getting in for. So, yeah, no real surprises in terms of the quality of the films, but just having them and expanding my 50 sci-fi collection just is always a plus point, quite frankly. So yeah, highly recommend these films if you are into 50 sci-fi and you've not seen them so far. But if you have seen any of these films, in particular the Gamma People or the Underwater City, I'd like to hear your thoughts on them. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.